Good morning. Welcome to today's New York City Council hearing for the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure. Please silence all cell phone electronic devices. If you wish to participate in today's hearing, please fill out an appearance card with the Sergeant at Arms. Moving forward, no one is to approach the dais. Chair, we are ready to begin.
Good morning and welcome to today's hearing of the New York City Council's Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure. I am Council Member Sean Abreu, Majority Leader and Chair of this committee. As I said during our first hearing on Wednesday, I am committed to running an effective, efficient, and equitable committee that advances thoughtful policies to improve the lives of all New Yorkers. We are quickly getting to work to fulfill that commitment. At today's hearing, we will be hearing a bill that would improve the Open Streets program so that this bill can advance without unnecessary delay. The Open Streets program was initially created in the spring of 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic and then was made permanent by the Council through Local Law 55 of 2021. The program has remained popular and effective in the nearly 6 years since its launch, helping communities across the city transform their streets into public spaces for all. When streets are safely open to people, neighborhoods become more walkable, local businesses see increased foot traffic, families have places to gather, and residents have opportunities to be active and connected. This is especially important in underserved communities that have historically received less support for and access to high-quality public space. The bill we are hearing today would improve this program by providing opportunities for open streets, special activations on certain holidays, and time periods when pedestrian traffic is predictably higher. Specifically, introduction number 257, sponsored by Councilmember Joseph, would require Department of Transportation to offer special activation opportunities for open streets participants to expand operating hours on designated holidays, including Memorial Day, Juneteenth, the 4th of July, Labor Day, and Halloween, as well as on other holidays or days with significant pedestrian traffic. It is important to acknowledge that this bill builds off of the work that the Department of Transportation has been doing to expand open streets over the last few years, such as part of its now annual Trick or Treats initiative around Halloween. Today, the committee looks forward to hearing from DOT about its experience offering special activation opportunities as part of the Open Streets program. Before we begin, I would like to thank my staff and the committee staff for their hard work in preparing for today's hearing. Jaleesa Quigley, my Deputy Chief of Staff and Director of Legislation and Budget. Ian Boldeston, my Director of Communications. Amber Moore, my Chief of Staff. Mark Chen, Senior Counsel to the Committee. Theodore Miller, Counsel to the Committee. Kevin Katowski, Senior Policy Analyst of the Committee. John Basile, Senior Policy Analyst of the Committee. And Adrian Drapal, Principal Financial Analyst of the Committee. I will now allow Councilmember Joseph to speak on her bill.
Thank you, Chair Abreu and colleagues of the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure. Today I'm pleased that you are hearing my bill. I know the intro number has changed to T0165, was previously heard during the 2024-2025 legislative session. When I first introduced it, the legislation would require the Department of Transportation to provide open street participants with the opportunity to expand their operating hours on certain holidays, including Memorial Day, Juneteenth, the 4th of July, Labor Day, Halloween, and other high traffic days. It would also require the DOT to accept suggestions from community organizations to add additional holidays for special activation. Applications for these special activation would allow the same review process as regular open street applications. Additionally, this bill aims to support communities in celebrating cultural holidays safely by making it easier to request and receive open streets approval. At last year's hearing, the administration expressed favorable support for this bill, and I look forward to hearing their comments once again. Passing this legislation would represent another positive step towards progress and cultural support of our diverse communities in New York. Thank you, Committee Chair, for allowing me to speak today, and I look forward to seeing this bill pass in committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Joseph. I'd like to recognize colleagues who have joined us today in person. We have Council Members Wong, Marte, Justin Sanchez, and Lewis, and remote, we have Council Members Brooks Powers, Hanif, and Pierina Sanchez. I will now ask the committee counsel to swear in the administration.
Thank you. Our first panel will be from the Department of Transportation, Eric Beaton, Deputy Commissioner for Transportation, Planning and Management, Rick Rodriguez, Assistant Commissioner for Intergovernmental and Community Affairs. I will now administer the oath. Please raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth before this committee and to respond to council member questions honestly? Yes. Thank you. You may begin when ready.
Good morning, Chair Abreu and members of the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure. I'm Eric Beaton, Deputy Commissioner for Transportation, Planning and Management. I'm joined by Rick Rodriguez, Assistant Commissioner for Intergovernmental and Community Affairs. Thank you for the opportunity to testify on behalf of Mayor Mamdani and Commissioner Flynn about Intro 257. I know we're here to testify on the bill today, but I'd be remiss if we didn't cheerlead our work. At DOT, we work with and support more than 200 open streets locations citywide, including a record high 72 open streets at schools across the city. The Open Streets program also includes temporary, holiday-specific open streets such as Halloween and harvest-themed Trick or Streets events through October, holiday open streets on Fifth Avenue, and expansions of celebrated annual tradition of summer streets, reaching over 400 blocks of car-free fun. We partner with schools, community groups, and business improvement districts to execute and program these streets citywide. Our program empowers community partners to steward their communities and create new possibilities to reimagine public spaces for food and culture, recreation, and education. We also partner with local businesses to ensure that loading, deliveries, and emergency access are coordinated throughout. The Mamdani administration and Commissioner Flynn have a deep belief in supporting this program and equitably expanding the use of our streets as public space. We look forward to continue growing our Open Streets program. Turning to the legislation before the Council today, an Intro 257 sponsored by Councilmember Joseph. This bill would modify the Open Streets program to offer activation opportunities on certain holidays outside of normal operating hours, including Memorial Day, Juneteenth, 4th of July, Labor Day, Halloween, and other holidays or days with significant pedestrian traffic. It also requires procedures by which community organizations may participate in or suggest new activation opportunities, which may also be offered on other days to the agency's discretion. We support this bill as we already extend the opportunity for programming on holidays and look forward to extending opportunities for potential programming partners to activate our streets on even more days. We welcome the chance for additional conversations on how to enhance our efforts to think boldly about public space. In conclusion, I'd like to thank the Council for the opportunity to testify before you today. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Regarding the expansion of holidays and open streets, how many open street applications have been submitted for the 2026 application process?
So our application process is currently open. At this moment, we're at 103 applications for 2026. But the first deadline is coming up very shortly, and historically we've gotten a lot of applications on the day or two before that deadline. So we expect that number to be much higher.
And how does that compare during this time last year?
It's roughly the same as this time last year, and we've seen a lot of returning Open Streets partners, but we've also seen a number of new ones coming in. So we don't have a final number, but we think that it will be similar, if not bigger, than last year.
And do you anticipate it? What is the number historically by the deadline date?
By the deadline date, it's over 200. And then there's actually a second later deadline for schools who want to start in September. So we can take a little bit longer on those, but we expect it to be over 200 again.
And would you say that these are mostly returning or new partners?
The majority are returning, but we do have a good number of new partners as well. So of the 103, 89 are returning and 14 are new. But again, we expect both of those numbers to go up in the next few days.
Okay. And what is the administration doing to encourage new partnerships?
Yeah, we do a lot of outreach around the city, particularly looking at neighborhoods that don't have as much that don't have open streets or other good open spaces. So we work with our borough commissioners. We reach out to community boards. We reach out to religious and faith-based organizations, And we try to make sure that they know that we are able to support them, that, if it's a relatively small organization, we can either provide funding or we can provide direct support services through our public space equity program. And we have a deep commitment to doing that outreach and make sure that we're reaching any community in the city that wants to participate.
Under DOT rules, open street partners may request permission to operate a full closure open street during certain holidays. How many of these requests did DOT receive last year, and how many were granted?
So Trick or Streets is sort of its own number because it's a lot. But on most holidays, we've historically not seen a huge number. It's been one or two in a year. But I think one of the good things about this legislation is it helps raise awareness and make clear that that's possible. And so we hope to engage even more partners this year on those holidays.
And if this legislation were to pass, and that certainly, our hope, what would the administration do to encourage the use of this permit during holidays?
For sure, it would become part of what we discuss when we reach out to partners. We have a very active engagement. We don't just say, go do your thing. Like, we make sure that they know about the resources available. They know that we're able to give programming. And as part of that, we'll make sure that they know that the opportunity is available to do these on the holidays as well.
What are common reasons for DOT to issue a denial if any were denied in the past year?
Sure. We don't deny a lot, but some examples might be if someone requests an open street on a major bus route or truck route where the diversion would cause other issues in the community. There's often physical issues. I would say that that's the most common issue that comes up.
Is there a formal standard for approval or denial, or is that more of an informal standard?
So we do a lot of consultation, right? If it's affecting a bus route, we talk with the MTA. There's a process where we reach out to elected officials and community boards, and we take that back in helping make the decision. So at one point we discussed, should it be an automatic denial if it's on a bus route? We thought about it and said, look, there may be circumstances where that's okay. We'll discuss with the MTA, we'll discuss with the community. And so we do have a small number of open streets that are maybe only one day a week, but they would affect a bus route. And we think that level of thoughtfulness is more appropriate than having a hard and fast rule.
So would you say that the acceptance rate is pretty high? Or the approval rate is?
Yes, it's very high.
And just to put a finer point, a good portion or a good reason why we have so few denials is we work with those partners to find locations that do make sense.
Okay. Has DOT considered expanding the list of holidays beyond the 11 federal holidays? And if so, what factors do you take into consideration?
Yeah, that's a good question, because a few years ago, Halloween was not something that we offered, right? It was treated just like any other day, and we heard that there was a big need. Both communities requesting the ability to close streets when children are out trick or treating. We also thought there was an important safety purpose, as we know that those are very busy days on our streets. So we very aggressively pushed that out there. And I think we're open to finding places, and it may not be the same all over the city, but where there's a community that's celebrating a holiday, I think we're happy to work with them, and even if it's not the regular day that they might operate, finding ways to do that. We want this to be a program that works with communities.
Does DOT feels it needs assistance from other agencies to enforce and carry out special activations?
So at times, yes. I think one of the great things about the Open Streets program is that a lot of it just runs in a very straightforward way where we provide the support and the streets are able to be open to pedestrians. But there are places where there's been crowds and we work with NYPD. We certainly work with the fire department to make sure that we meet their requirements of having an open lane at all times. We work with sanitation and make sure that they're able to clean streets and do what they need to do. So we do work with other agencies, but thankfully we've not seen it as a big imposition on needing to do tremendous amounts of enforcement.
And do you find that you need assistance from other agencies in most situations? I know you said at times. Do you just say most of the time, some of the time?
Hey, I would say the assistance is mostly the review up front, that we review with them to give them a chance to flag any issues that they have. Once the streets are in operation, As I said, occasionally there's a special event that needs more, but mostly we're able to just run them through DOT and through our partners.
How will DOT ensure emergency vehicle access during extended hours, and what are the operational requirements for partners?
Sure, we take emergency vehicle access very seriously. We have a set of requirements that all of our open streets and all of our partners must obey at all times, including keeping an 11-foot open path for emergency access. And we create maps of the street and show where things should be. We go out and inspect to make sure that those are being followed. It's a core part of anything on a street that emergency access must be maintained.
And my last set of questions are on playground access, which is more of an interest area for me and hopefully this committee. I'm really interested in exploring ways we can increase the number of and access to playgrounds in the city. And I understand that DOT works with partner organizations to support a range of activities and programming at open street locations, including for recess and outdoor learning at certain full closure school locations. Have playgrounds ever been considered or implemented as part of any of these open street locations, particularly full closure or full closure school locations?
Yeah, bringing more play to our streets is something we've done a lot of talking about. Certainly Summer Streets has a lot of this to it too. The way the Open Streets program runs, by necessity, it is closed to traffic at some times and then open at other times. So it doesn't work well with permanent infrastructure. But we have a set of programming partners, some of which include the ability to bring in play structures and other things, working with those schools. Now, it may be that there's locations where a permanent closure is appropriate, and we work through our Plaza program to create those spaces. And then I think for a playground, we would obviously want to work with Parks and Recreation around creating and maintaining that type of infrastructure.
Does DOT have any thoughts on the potential of expanding playground access through the Open Streets program?
So one of the things that we've done with a lot of open streets is we have a lot of open streets near parks or adjacent to parks to help sort of expand the park into the community and make access easier and safer. So again, we work with the Parks Department, we work with local communities around that, but it's something we've heard very clearly is that like opening the park into the community is part of what an open street can do. Yeah. And so we're interested in that. We're certainly we can talk more about,
That'd be great.
Lots of ways that we can keep those conversations going.
Councilmember Joseph, you have questions on your bill? You're good. Councilmember Marte?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
So there's a $20,000 grant for reimbursement of nonprofits that, have activities on open streets. Mm-hmm. Would that also be covered for the specific holidays as well?
Yes. Okay. So we would work with them either to provide the direct reimbursement or if they need more direct assistance in terms of maintaining the space, that would apply here too.
Great, thank you. No, I think it's going to be great, especially for holiday-specific events, if that program can help cover or offset some of the costs that the nonprofits do on the streets.
Yeah, we think that that's been a key part of the success of the program, to make sure that it's not only available in rich areas of the city, but that anyone can participate without the money being the top obstacle.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Thank you. This panel is hereby excused.
All right, thank you.
I now open the hearing for public testimony. I remind members of the public that this is a government proceeding and that decorum shall be observed at all times. As such, members of the public shall remain silent at all times. The witness table is reserved for people who wish to testify. No video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recordings as testimony, but may submit transcripts of such recordings to the Sergeant at Arms for inclusion in the hearing record. If you wish to speak at today's hearing, please fill out an appearance card with the Sergeant at Arms and wait to be recognized. When recognized, you will have 2 minutes to speak on today's hearing topic. Specifically, introduction number 257, a local law to amend the administrative code of the City of New York in relation to special activation of the Open Streets program on certain holidays and time periods with significant pedestrian traffic. If you have a written statement or additional written testimony you wish to submit for the record, please provide a copy of that testimony to the Sergeant at Arms. You may also email written testimony to testimony@council.nyc.gov within 72 hours of this hearing. Audio and video recordings will not be accepted. Our first panel will include Theo Chino. Hello.
Hello, Councilman.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Theo Chino. I'm the first National Secretary of the Social Democrat of America, the socialist faction inside the Democratic Party. I'm here today to request intro it was 165, but I think it changed, bill to be amended to formally include the United Nations Week as part of the Open Street holiday calendar. Over the year, I repeatedly reached out to my Portuguese socialist comrade, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, to encourage the inclusion of the local Democratic and Republican County Committee member in drafting mitigation proposal for UN Week. The purpose of this outreach has been to alleviate both the disruption and the financial burden that the United Nations presence place on the residents of New York City during General Assembly. The goal has always been simple: to reduce disruption to New Yorker and to address the significant financial and social costs imposed that week on our city residents. As a socialist who believes wholeheartedly in the mission of the United Nations, an institution led by a fellow socialist, it pains me to say this. But when the security of international delegate is consistently prioritized over the daily life of New Yorker, we must speak honestly about the consequence. The UN Week places a heavy burden on our city, and the visa denial imposed by our president routinely prevents full delegation from attending. At the same time, New York City absorbed enormous costs through NYPD overtime, extensive street closure, and economic loss to local business. The impact extends well beyond the boundary of Community Board 6. That's why it is essential that Intro 165 explicitly recognize UN Week as an open street holiday. This would allow the city to plan proactively, manage traffic responsibly, and support business across the tri-state area.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your opportunity to testify and for consideration on this inclusion.
Thank you for your testimony. Second panelist, we're going to second panelist remote. We're going to start with Glenn Bolofsky.
Mr. Chairman, how are you today, sir?
Doing all right. Yourself?
Nice to see you again.
Your
And I
time
wanna
has
thank
started.
you. Well, we got a lot to do. And I know you're off to a great start. I want to thank you so much for helping to expand the Open Streets program. But before I get into that, I want to thank your team, yourself, the former chair of this committee, Selvina, who helped a lot to improve things, and our entire central staff team as well, and all the advocates out there. So I want to thank everybody for taking the time. That's first and most important. Open streets are so important to the vitality of our neighborhoods. Really thank Councilmember Joseph for introducing this and sticking to it all this time, and the team here for supporting it. We'd like more open streets and more parks. They're essential. I grew up in Forest Hills. The park was essential to my well-being. We played chess in the park. We played checkers in the park. It kept us off the streets. It was a very healthy environment. We support that strongly, and we appreciate the opportunity to be here today. Just want to mention in passing, 30 seconds, there's a deadline Monday with the Department of Finance. I've been sending that around. Central staff has passed it around to everybody. Anybody who wants to reply to the Department of Finance, their new program is expanding discounts on illegally double parked vehicles under the stipulated fine program. It's not shrinking, it's expanding. The mayor probably doesn't know about it. I've learned your team didn't know about it until DOF did, never told anybody. So we're letting everybody know that they're looking to expand that program, and that will reduce the speed of buses, reduce perhaps the improvements we receive from congestion pricing. It certainly is reducing our monies available for open streets and parks because we're giving out hundreds of millions in subsidies during this budget process
Thank you for
to
your testimony.
Amazon
Time
and
has
big
expired.
revenue makers. Thank
Thank,
you so much, Mr. Chair. Great to work with you this morning and your team.
thank
Thank you
you
so
very,
much.
thank you very much. We next have Saskia Hagens.
You may begin.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Saskia Hagens, and I'm a volunteer open streets organizer in Brooklyn. I support legislation that further formalizes the open streets program, especially if it helps make the program more accessible and flexible. The proposed legislation would facilitate running open streets outside of a regular schedule, and it would be incredibly helpful to add further flexibility and allow one-off days in addition to designated holidays. One obvious example that comes to mind is Pride in June, which is not technically a holiday, yet certainly a significant event in New York, especially for the queer community. Currently, it's virtually impossible to add one-off days to the open street schedule outside of certain holidays, and the proposed legislation would codify and extend existing practice. So in sum, I strongly support this legislation. I want to emphasize the importance of making sure that it's accessible for, not just for designated holidays, but also for important community events such as Pride. Furthermore, I would like to take this opportunity to reiterate a point open streets organizers and supporters have been making for years now, which is that in order for this program to survive and thrive, it needs to be fully funded. Open Streets has allowed communities to make our streets safer, to provide free programming, maintenance, outdoor dining, and support local businesses. There's countless of surveys and petitions that show widespread support for the program. And just today, the state comptroller released a report showing open streets lead to substantial job growth. One key piece remains missing, though, and that is the money to pay for all of this. Instead, the program relies on endless unpaid volunteer labor by organizers such as myself, and this is not sustainable. Without new dedicated funding, this program won't survive. And I'm asking the new administration and this newly installed committee to finally fully fund the Open Streets program. And this should cover staffing of DOT positions, directly funding community organizations, and fast-tracking the implementation of street improvement projects on open streets corridors. All of this in order to protect and expand this
Thank you for your
fantastic.
testimony. Time has expired.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. If we have inadvertently missed anyone that has registered to testify today and has not yet been called on, please use the Zoom hand function if you are testifying remotely, and you will be called in the order that your hand has been raised. If you are testifying in person, please come to the dais. Seeing no one approaching the dais and seeing no hands raised on Zoom, this hearing is hereby adjourned.